Good morning, Heritage Middle School. Welcome back for the 25-26 school year. We cannot express enough how excited we are to see you guys back in the hallways and here with us at Heritage Middle School, or at least half of it, given the construction. So thank you for being flexible. Thank you for keeping the smiles on your face, even in the challenging times like when half our buildings closed down. So what I'm here for today is just to introduce and talk briefly about what this classroom is that you're sitting in right now and what we call house. I didn't say this before, but I'm Dr. Dom. I'm one of the assistant principals here at Heritage. If I haven't gotten to meet you, I can't wait to do so. But let's go ahead and get started and talk about house. This time last year, we began talking about this new idea called house. So for most of you that are sitting here today watching this, you have a good idea of what house looked like last year. For those of you that are new, and all of our sixth graders, this is more geared towards you and kind of recognizing what this is all about. But before we jump into that, I do want to spend just a little bit of time and talk about what we did last year when introducing this idea. And there's a couple things I want to celebrate and also share with you all. So when we started this whole idea of house, we began with kind of framing it within a vision of what we wanted it to look like and what the purpose was. And so when you ask, what is house and why do we do it? My answer to you is always going to be something centered around the idea that we wanted to create a space here in the building where every single person, every student, and every teacher had a place where they belonged, a group of people, a community that they belonged to. And more specifically, a community where they could be seen, they could be heard, they could be known, and they could be valued. That was the big vision, and it was a big ask and a big move and change from what we've done in the past. But what I want to share with you today is some celebration of the work that not only our teachers put in, but that you as students put in last year as well. And so I'm going to show you just a couple pieces of information that we utilize as a school. And I also want to shine a light on some of the things that you guys do that we use to make meaningful change here in the building. And one of those is the Panorama Survey that you guys take multiple times every year. Most of you probably just rolled your eyes, but I do want to draw your attention to how important that survey is and what we use that information for. When we started dreaming up the idea of house, it all came from that Panorama Survey, and more specifically, looking at two pieces of information. The first was our overall sense of belonging data. How much did our students feel like they belonged in this building? Secondly, there's a question in there that gets broken down that specifically speaks to how connected each of our students feels to the adults within our building. And so we saw those numbers and were really befuddled by why they were so low, and saw a need that our students are telling us that this is something they're lacking and we need to create something to fill that void. And that's where house came from. So 1 year into this, I want to look at what those numbers became. And so when we look at our building panorama sense of belonging data, so this is you all as students saying, how much do I feel like I belong? I don't want you to focus so much on the number. I want you to focus on the change. From last year, in the 3 times that we took the panorama data, we had over a 9-point increase, a 9 percentage point increase in that panorama data that says that students feel like they belong more now than they ever have. And more specifically, that says the highest that it's been since the fall of 2020, which is before COVID. The second piece of information that we looked at and utilized was that question of how connected do you feel to adults at your school? And again, don't focus on the numbers, focus on the change, because we saw some massive change from 9 to 14% change in our panorama data for that specific question, which tells us a couple things. One thing is that we listen to you, and we want to hear your input and want to hear the things that you need as students. And that is a big part of how house came about, because you all said that you needed something where you could be known, seen, heard, and valued more than you had before. And this data became the highest percentages that we've had here since we started doing the Panorama Survey in 2018 and 2019. So what does all that mean? First, it tells us that the work is worth it, that coming to house, investing in a group of people, building a community, having fun is worth that time and energy. The second thing is that I just want to say thank you. We as a building want to say thank you to the students and to the staff for the work that you put in to create a space where everybody can feel those positive feelings every single day within your houses. So thank you for putting in that work last year. So what is House? What's new? What's it going to look like? Going to look very similar to what it did last year. House is always going to happen after second hour, and it's going to be that window of time where you are solely building community with that group of people. Your teachers are going to have all the resources to create and have some interactive and engaging community building activities so that you can continue to get to know each other and build trust amongst each other. But there are going to be a few changes this year in regards to how we structure House. We will still have our focus days and our family days, and our family days are solely focused on building camaraderie and knowing each other well and having fun with one another. The focus days are going to be more intentional to working on iReady, which, big change, you're only going to have to do once in-house each week this year. More on that later. We're going to share some different information of what iReady is going to look like at a later date, but we're only going to take one day in-house, and that's going to be on Tuesdays. So then we have other things to do on those Thursdays that are going to be really intentional to growing you as people and as a community within your house. So in short, House is supposed to be a fun time. House is a time where you can let loose, you can kick your feet up, not actually on the tables, but relax a little bit. Get to know people, build trust, build new friendships, build a good connection with your teacher in house, and have fun. We are going to be still having house challenges where you will compete against other houses and other neighborhoods and all of that stuff that we saw last year in regards to those challenges. We're going to continue that work. This all comes into play also with assemblies where you're going to be in your neighborhoods or in your teams of Navy and Gold and or in your grade level competing against one another through different games and activities within those assemblies. But I don't want us to lose sight of the main purpose. And that is, again, to create a space where every person belongs and feels as though they are known, seen, and valued. So you as the students have a responsibility to uphold that just as much as teachers do. It is your responsibility to come in this space every day and give people a chance. Take the chips off your shoulder, build trust, begin to open up, allow others into your circle and into your life so that you can be there to support each other. But more than anything, be kind and be open and willing to accept others who are different than you because it's worth it. Allowing people to have that space is just as important as you getting that space from others. So be the change, be the person, be the thing that makes a difference in someone else's day. And don't lose sight of the impact that you can have, even just through one interaction, but even more so through a community that you build that you get to spend time with every single day. We're going to get into all the detail way later on as you move throughout House. Today, just want to give us an overview and set the tone. So that is all that I have for today. If you have questions, ask your teachers. But for now, please go have fun and enjoy one another.